Hey guys, welcome back. This video is just the freshman year retrospective. So I'm going to be talking about basically from January of 2024 all the way to December of 2024, my university experience throughout my freshman year. And I don't have a script for this, so just going to be going off what pops up in my head from what I remember and whatnot. Um, so pretty much to start back in January. So I remember that time slightly because it was such a a fish out of water type of situation. Like I of course have been to school before, but never in a school where it was like out of town. Um and so because of that I had to live away from home, and that meant as well, you know, also the thing is that there was this rule that every freshman had to live in the dorms for at least 1 year. Technically, with mine, it wasn't like that because um, pretty much I do still live in the dorms because, again, I don't live in this town that I'm going to school in. I'm from out of town. But basically, what had happened was that um, I didn't know technically. I didn't know that it was okay for me to just have 1 semester of living in the dorms, and that would fulfill the requirement of living in the dorms for 1 year. To me, I thought it actually had to be a year, but no, it turns out that that was not the case. But overall, I guess I could get back to it, but right now it's not the time to talk about it. But pretty much from the classes that I had in that first semester, um, I remember primarily theater class. That class was very interesting. I still have, you know, fairly fond memories of what I got to do in that class, the assignments, projects that we had. Um, you know, and I do, from what I remember, I was actually pretty good in the class. Granted, I was technically good in all the classes because I ended up passing them all. So there's that. But basically, you know, the other classes that I had, I remember having business administration. That was, I'm still a bit confused what was going on the lab section. The lecture section, I understood, but the lab, I'm like, what were we even doing? Um, like, what's going on? Anyways, but overall, it was great experience. And then, just have your other classes of like your science, your math, your writing, English based classes. And those were also great. I feel like at the end of the day, if I were to select one class that I liked the most, that I enjoyed the most, it would probably have been theater class. I would also say geology was great, specifically the lab portion. But it's also one of those where, like, sometimes it's great and then some other times it's the worst thing. Okay. Hopefully they don't, teacher doesn't hear about that. But, for the most part, everything, my experience was great. I loved it. And so then, um, with the fall semester, pretty much the classes that I had sort of didn't really. I mean, it did change, but for the most part, granted, it's only because I remember um, the fact that I did have a math class, and I was like, okay, well, I had math class the semester prior, but basically everything else was already done. For the most part, I don't remember. I could be wrong, but I don't think the business class I had was similar to the one that I had during the spring semester. The fall semester, I had economics, and the prior semester it was business administration. I don't think they're fully the same. But for the most part, economics class, oh, that was a storm. Okay, it was a battlefield. It was had to go to war, you know, learning for that class. Um, so much stuff felt like it was working against you. But besides that, you know, I passed, so everything is good. And then for the other classes, I had songwriting and beat making. That was a class that I, of course, chose to take because, you know, it's like, let me just have some fun, okay, with my selections. And then another one was digital media and storytelling. That one is definitely the class that I like the most. You know, it's really these creative based classes that I like the most. You know, with theater class and digital media and storytelling, those classes are definitely my favorites. And so then other classes I had was, I believe there should be one more class. Oh, it was government. Okay, yeah. For the most part, there wasn't much going because we only had class once a week. So there's not much for me to say compared to all those other classes that we had, you know, multiple times in a week. So they have much more of a story to tell. But for government, there isn't really much. But overall, you know, as I said, the freshman year was very much great. You know, I enjoyed the times. You know, there was all the highs, the amazing times, the lows. You know, the most stressful times. But for the most part, you know, I got through it, and that does give you like a sense of hope. That like, okay, you know what? If I was able to get it through one year, how hard is it going to be for the next 5 years? You know, so that is amazing, pretty much. But besides that, I can't really think of anything else I'd have to um, say or bring up for the most part. So, you know, it's, and again, I don't have a script, so I can't really point back to things like, oh yeah, let me just talk about this or talk about that. That was just off the top of my head. But yeah, that's all I have to pretty much say. So thank you guys for watching.